And we're on.
Awesome.
Awesome. Well, hi everyone. I'm Deborah, and this is Own Your Story. And I just have to say that this has been something I've wanted to do forever because I am completely and totally fascinated by stories of where people have been and how they have been led to the career they're doing or whatever it is that they're doing in their lives. And so I have Sabrina Miller. Is it Mueller or Miller? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Miller, but you can say Miller because it's really hard to
Okay,
pronounce.
with me today. Okay, thank you so much. I apologize for that. I meant to ask you before. And her story is just so empowering from where she's come from, living numerous places around the world, born in Germany, went on to England and then to Australia, back to Germany. She's now recently, not just now, very recently engaged, bought a new home, has a new puppy, and from some very hard beginnings, I think that would be a good word,
Yes.
to empowering and inspiring throughout the world. So she has her programs in English, and now she's going back to her native Germany and then spreading her light all through Germany. It's just, she's high power, high energy, and I'm so excited to have her here. And just before I welcome you, Sabrina, I just want to say that I have actually been fortunate enough to meet Sabrina, which not all of my interviews I have. We met a year and a half ago or so in Vegas in a retreat. And part of highlighting people and talking about their stories is just that power in the connection. And, there's just so much to be said for connecting with women all over the world, and especially if I've had the opportunity to meet with them face to face. So I'm really thrilled about having Sabrina with me today. Thank you so much for being here, and welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And do you know what? I actually remember us meeting in Vegas, and I remember you coming up to me, and it's because it's like obviously you're always surrounded by so many women, but there's probably like a few that energetically really match up. And I remember us having a talk, and you were like, "Oh my God, I really like your energy, and I'm so drawn in." And then we just had a bit of a chat, and then and here we are today sharing my story, hoping to share some love and some light and empower some other women. So I'm really excited to be here. So thank you for having me and thinking of me.
Yeah, thank you so much. So thrilled that you are. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how you got started? And you know
Yes.
what, I'm remiss in saying that Sabrina is a success and mindset business coach. If I said this already, I apologize, for freedompreneurs. And so, I'd love to find out how you got to that title as well.
Okay, so tell me how much time I've got, because I can give you the short version, I can give you the long version, but I'll talk you through a little bit of my journey. So, yes, my name is Sabrina. I am actually German, even though I don't sound German. I was born here, and then I guess my life has taken me on this really crazy, amazing path, which is one of my favorite words, crazy, amazing. And I didn't have the greatest start. So yes, today I'm an amazing point, and I've got an amazing business. I've got an amazing team. I've got amazing clients. And as you just mentioned, like we're just going from strength to strength. Like I'm going to have my my feature in Forbes article being literally one of the top 20 female entrepreneurs to watch out for in 2018. Which is exciting. There's a book that is coming out. And as you said, we're looking at how can I spread my love in German and actually empower women here. So there's a lot of great things happening now. But of course, it's like there is no such thing as an overnight success. There's no such thing as like, oh, wow, Sabrina, now your life is so amazing. And yes, it is, but it's actually taken me, a path to get here. And I do want to say that, we all have a story before I actually tell you mine. And I don't want to get people to think like, oh my God, she's got such a brilliant story, or like a heartfelt story. And that's what makes her so special. Like, I just want to know that everybody has a journey. Everybody has a story. And I remember, and I'll give you this little metaphor, and you will chuckle about that, which means you will laugh about that. In Australia, we say chuckle. I kind of say to people, like, we all have a story. And at the end of the day, like, it doesn't matter like how much shit we had to go through, you know, whether it's like the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, or whether it's just mum and dad divorcing, or just, you know, struggling with finances, or being bullied, or having your first boyfriend break your heart. You know what? I kind of say, like, at the end of the day, shit is shit. It's just different shit, but in the end, shit still smells. So, okay, so I just want to put that out there.
So kind of the point that why we're here today.
Exactly. So we all have like some smelly poo going on that we need to sort out, right? So I guess, you know, for me, I think about the story that I call, obviously, from being the girl in the ghetto to being now this, like, this badass boss babe. And I guess the start to my life wasn't very great. I grew up obviously in Germany. My parents were separated by the age I was 1. I chose to live with my mum. Well, I guess that was the law. And my mum was an alcoholic. Well, actually, she still is an alcoholic. She's kind of like going through the motions, but obviously that's a hard journey to go through in itself. And so by the age I was 8, I had probably seen and experienced a lot of things that you wouldn't wish upon your worst enemy. You know, I've been sexually abused by several guys. My mum had obviously crazy boyfriends. You know, they put a house, like a flat, I don't know, apartment, you know, we lived in an apartment, on fire a couple of times. And I kind of saved my little brother. At the time there was only one, and I have 2 like step brothers. One's got Down syndrome, and, you know, at the age of 8, well, actually probably by the age of 5, I started to be the caretaker for those 2 little babies. So I was looking up, you know, after them, because my mom obviously was out there drinking and, you know, doing her thing. And, you know, looking back, I think there's like a defining moment. Like, we all have defining moments in our lives that shape us, you know. And for me, when I look back, I definitely know, yes, it was interesting to see how, despite having seen all this violence and experienced all this abuse and seen lots of physical abuse, you know, my mum was telling me later on, like, I would literally throw myself in front of her to protect her so her boyfriends couldn't beat her up. And it's really crazy, but, you know, that amongst that, I was still a happy child. Like, I seriously was still like this, just this curious, you know, child. And I was talking to everyone, and, you know, I was talking to people randomly at the bus stop, asking them, you know, where are you going? What are you doing today? And my mum was telling me, well, you can't talk to everyone because, you know, there's bad people in the world. And I was like, no, I just believed in love, you know. And obviously fast forward like 30 odd years, I now know it's because, you know, my purpose is love. Like, all I see is love. So even though I had these horrible things happening, I just couldn't comprehend it. And I didn't, you know, so I never talked about it neither. So anyway, fast forward to the age I was 8, I had a conversation with my mum, and I said to her, I said, listen, Mum, we need to talk, you know, very grown up. And I sat her down and I said to her, it's like, Mum, I love you. I really love you, but I can't see you constantly getting beaten up, and, you know, there's all this physical abuse, and you know, I don't think it's very good for me to be in this environment. So I think I'm going to go and live with my dad. And that was like a defining moment. Like, it was as if my soul had come out of me and said, you need to fight for your life. You need to actually make a stand. And
you
so
were very young.
Yeah, like, it's pretty crazy. But I guess that, you know, spiritual thinking, like, spiritually speaking, I believe like I'm an old soul. So obviously, you know, I chose this life. You know, I chose this to learn the lessons that I had to. And obviously I had this defining moment, and there was a bit of a custody battle. And then I did move to my dad, and I was so grateful. And I guess that to an extent saved me, because I now went into like a structured environment, and the rules, and, you know, maybe too many rules, because, you know, as much as I love my stepmom, there was kind of like more issues as I grew up. And it's not like this typical stepmother, you know, stereotype, but we did have some issues. And I had then 2 other girls live with us, like her, you know, my kind of stepsister, my step cousin. Anyway, long story cut short, there was another defining moment when I was 18. And I decided that I had enough of this environment yet again, because I felt I was not being heard. Like, I felt I actually couldn't, you know, raise my, you know, share my opinion or stand in my power. And I was a really good student. I was an A-grade student. I didn't do anything, you know, I didn't do any drugs. I was like school captains, and, you know, really,
that right there shows, you know, the person you are to have gone through, because that's a lot of stuff to go through, yet still come out on top. I mean, you just already had that tenacity to just pushing
Yes,
forward.
I know.
Mhm.
And that's what I mean. Like, I definitely think it's my soul's calling, you know, that I was meant to be someone who, you know, who was on to bigger things. But I
Mhm.
also, I guess, like having a structured environment, and my parents were really strict on education, you know, so there were some hard rules, but I was a great student. And like, I'm just a soak, you know, I'm just a sponge. Sorry, not a sponge, a sponge. And I soak information up. But you know, as I said, the situation itself wasn't that great, and then I had a big fallout with my parents, and it was just literally a conversation to my dad, and I said, listen, I need to stand in my ground, I need to own my power. And it was because something silly that my mother, or my stepmother, who, you know, who's like my mum, didn't want me to see this guy. And I was like, well, I'm 18 going on to 19, I've never given you any reason to doubt me. I believe that even if this guy isn't great for me, you know, I still need to make my own choices. But they
Mhm.
forced me into, like, that backed me into a corner. And so I made a call, and I just packed my bags and I moved out, which wasn't very great for our family life, but it was like, it's what I had to do to set myself free. So
Mhm.
fast forward, this was, I was 19. So we're talking 16 years now, but fast forward, you know, I think that point when I turned 19, that was my ticket. You know, that was my ticket to go, who do I want to be? Who do I want to become? You know, how do I actually want to live life on my terms? And so I ended up in corporate career, as you do, working really hard. And then I decided that I actually wanted to become my own business. And then obviously that next chapter began.
Well, that's fascinating so far. You know, you were a young girl with a lot of will to go do what you wanted. So I can't wait to
Yes.
hear the next part
Yes.
and
So
watch
I'll
in the
keep,
future.
yeah, so I'll keep going. Like, that's what I mean. I can give you like short, long version. So anyway, so I decided
But your
that
energy is just so compelling. So just
I'll just
whatever
keep
version
talking.
flows out.
Exactly, whatever comes out. Just, you know, if I talk too much, you just like give me a nudge and be like, okay, reel it in. But anyway, so the
Got
next chapter started. And I decided to become, you know, I guess the next chapter was when I decided to work for myself. And I left corporate career. I worked in corporate for about 8 years, and I was very successful. I made really good money. I worked my butt off, and I had actually great relationships. But, you know, somehow it just wasn't enough. I mean, obviously at that point, like, I was 28. I didn't really know about this term purpose and soul's calling and alignment. Obviously I didn't know, but I knew that something was off, and I just wasn't as happy as I wanted to. And I remember breaking up with my boyfriend at the time because he wanted to marry me. And I could have, because on the outside, again, I had a great life. I mean, by that point I lived in Australia. I had a great job. I had a great boyfriend. Life was great. We had our first house. But then I realized that if I was to marry him, I would have only married him so that I could be that girl who would have her happy ending. You know, that I would be the girl who could come from such a shitty childhood and be like, look, I've made it. And then I realized that that would be lying to myself. And that's actually not what I'm about. So I broke up with him, and I decided to become, you know, self-employed. And I entered the fitness industry because at the time, you know, I was very much into fitness, as I am still today. And it just made sense. Like, for me, it made sense to have that transition. And it was actually that boyfriend at the time. Here's my cat, by the way. So if it's not my puppy, it's my cat
I
who's
love
like,
it.
who's coming for
There's
like,
plenty of room for everyone.
I know, for love and attention. It was actually my boyfriend at the time who said to me, you know, you're really good with people. You know, you're really good with people. You have this gift of being able to create like this environment, this trust, this warmth, and people come to you for advice. And you love training. Like, you've had your own journey of, you know, fitness and being healthy and educating yourself. And I was like, okay, kind of makes sense. So I fell into, you know, fitness. And I started training people. And I remember the first day I trained someone, I was like, oh, that's not going to be enough. That's not going to be enough. And I just almost had this like wake up call of like, there's got to be more to just training people. Because as I was training people, I noticed that women obviously having issues, you know, not sticking to meal plans, or, you know, self-sabotaging themselves and losing weight and putting it back on and losing weight and still not being happy. And like, we all know women, I mean, every woman that we know has dieted, has looked to, you know, get in better shape, to feel better about herself. And I was like, why is that so freaking hard? Like, and I mean, I've struggled with bulimia for a year myself. So I knew that there was like demons, that there was stuff going on. So I was like, why is it so hard? And that's when I decided to get into life coaching and human psychology. And I invested tons of money and energy and time in learning what makes people tick. So here I am, like a personal trainer and training people and practicing everything I've learned. And it was great because people said to me, they said, oh my God, I feel like I can really trust you. And people would always say, you're just like me. I feel like we're totally like, you're just like me. And I was like, that's interesting. I'm actually not like you, but somehow we must be connected, or I must, you know, give you this feeling that we are able to, you know, create this trust that you feel, you and I feel the same. I mean, we're obviously all connected anyway. And so I did a great job in the fitness industry. And then, of course, when you become successful, there's always this trigger of what can you do? What can you do next? And I was at a point where at that stage, then I was single because I dumped that boyfriend, right, at 28. And I just wanted to then go out to the world. I was like, there's going to be more to just like training people on how to eat and how to work out, you know, to work out. There's got to be more. And I knew it was mindset. Now, back then, which is only like, I don't know, 5 years ago, mindset wasn't such a big thing. And I was like, but it's all about mindset. Like, I know it's all about mindset. And I was ready to go, right, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to create, like at the time, I called it like the body love movement. I was like, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to show women that actually it's not about eating or working out. It's all what goes on between their ears, because at the end of the day, the root cause of weight gain is a lack of self-worth. You know, somewhere they're not feeling worthy enough or not good enough or not, you know, they're not feeling confident enough to really step into their own power. So I went on to decide, right, I'm going to go online. And this was like 5 years ago. And can you still hear me? Because oh yeah, there you go. So I started online 5 years ago with this body love movement. And, you know, I felt like I failed a little bit, but I didn't really fail. But I guess, you know, I wasn't selling people what they wanted. You know, people wanted just quick fixes. You know, people just wanted, you know, give me a nutrition plan, give me a workout plan, and just let me lose as much weight as I can in the shortest amount of time. And you know,
I'm still looking for that.
Yeah, you know, like the magic bullet. Everybody just wanted a magic bullet. And I was like, I'm not prepared to sell you a magic bullet. I want to sell you what you need. But as we know, marketing is not about selling people what they need. It's about, you know, selling them what they want, but giving them what they need. So I guess I kind of failed. Like I wasn't, you know, accelerating as fast as I wanted to. And then I guess, you know, coming out of my education, like by that point, I was a qualified NLP master practitioner. I've done lots of workshop training, speaker training. I'm a qualified hypnotherapist, and I was obviously practicing. And so I was like, I'm just going to implement every piece of knowledge. I'm going to build a website, and that's it. I'm going to change the lives of millions. And then like the reality kicked in, and it's like, well, actually it's not that easy. Well, if you don't position yourself right, like if you don't give people what they want, it's not going to work. And then there's like millions of coaches out there, and you got to create like, you know, opt-ins, and you're going to have like, I don't know, like a program, and you got to like grow and cultivate a tribe, and you got to blog, and you got to write articles, and you got to work on visibility. And I was like, oh, okay, so there's a bit more to it. Okay. Yeah, I guess the turning point came and I like ran out of money, and I was like, okay, all the money I saved up to build this business didn't really quite get me the money that I wanted. And I was like flat on my ass. I really was flat on my ass, and I was massively in debt. And I just thought, oh my God. And it was, you know, one of those breaking points in your life where you know, decide what you're going to do. Are you going to keep moving forward, or are you going to go back to old world? And, you know, I had like this, that's my dog causing trouble, but that's okay. I had this I had this thing like, you know, where we have this metaphor in Australia and we say that when the universe wants to talk to you, it drops you a feather. Okay. Like if it's got a lesson for you, it drops you a feather to let you know you need to listen. And I wasn't listening. So then if you don't listen to the feather, it's going to throw a prick at you. And if you don't listen, you're going to get hit by a truck. Okay. So I had my being hit by a truck moment, you know, being flat on my ass. And then I like broke my hand, nearly had surgery. Then the day I got my cast off, 5 weeks later, I actually burst my appendix. So I had to go back to hospital the same day I got my cast off. I had to have emergency. Yeah. I had to have emergency surgery.
This is a big sign, bigger than I expected.
Yeah, this was like a big boom. And I had to move out of the house that I was living in. And I had 2 dogs at the time. So, you know, it was a period over 12 weeks, you know, where I couldn't work and I created more debt. I had to move out of my house. I had 2 dogs. And in Australia, it's really hard to actually rent a property with dogs. So unless you own the property, and I had no money anyway. So I had to give up my dogs for adoption. And it was literally like my breaking point. Like it was either now, like, yeah, it was like my do or die moment, you know.
But you were focused and you really wanted to keep going after this. It's amazing.
Yes, I did. I really did, you know, and people were saying to me, just go back to personal training. Like you were gone, like you were making great money at personal training. You're so good at it. And I was like, yes, but no, I can't go back. Like I know that there's a bigger purpose. And even if I haven't figured out the way to get there yet, I will find a way. And even if I struggle, and, you know, I did struggle, and like you really learn how to like you have a newfound respect for money and you become very resourceful. And so it was my turning point, because I decided that my purpose was bigger than my excuses and that I would always find a way. And it was kind of like having this trust in the universe, knowing that as long as I know that I'm on path, the universe will always take care of me. And it did, you know, like I had like friends, literally, I mean, they're friends now, but they're women who would come to my classes. You know, one of them is like she became like my mama bear. She would bring me food, you know, because she knew that I was struggling. So there were people supporting me because they knew, like they saw me on stage and they knew like this girl is going to go somewhere. This is her path. And if we can support her somewhere along the way, we're going to do that. And I'm still friends with these people. And she's like, I knew you're going to make it. It's just a question of, you know, of when. And if I can do my part, then so be it. So I had amazing friends around me who supported me through this really dark time.
Yeah, to your energy, to your vibration, to who you are. Just such a testament to you that people just believed in you at this point, and you believed in yourself.
It was amazing. It really was. I mean, I also lost friends, you know, because they kind of see you change and grow and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just focusing on the people that, you know, that were in my environment, that were so supportive. And so many friends helped me out, really, as a massive testament. And I decided then at that time to work with a network marketing company, because it was a health product and it just aligned with what I was doing, because I was like, oh, this is a great way to get my message out there and to kind of still share this body love movement, because obviously I was helping people get a good nutritional, you know, like support, like a product, but also I could use that as an audience to share my message. And then I started running events. I did MLM and I was very successful. I, you know, literally got to the top of the position in less than 2 years, which was a great testament. But it was literally because I came out of like freaking desperation. I was like, I got to make this work, right? But I had a lot of fun with it. And what it's allowed me to do is I guess it led me on the path that I am now, because I was helping other people in MLM to really build their own businesses. So I was getting into like business coaching without even knowing, you know, I was getting into showing people this is how you use a product. It doesn't matter if it's MLM or your own product, and how you sell it, because at the end of the day, your product is just a vehicle and people are going to want to buy you. So let me help, you know, raise you up as a leader, let me teach you how to build a business, how to, you know, become a magnet so that people want to work with you, and teach you leadership, you know, teach you business skills, teach you, you know, productivity, teach you mindset. So I was raising up all these people, and obviously that made me very successful in MLM. And that's when I realized, I was like, oh, I think I'm meant to do this. You know, I'm like, this is what I'm meant to be doing, you know. And so I had, you know, I hit that top position. And that's when I had like another defining moment. And that was October 2015, because I decided that I felt like, okay, this is great. I'm doing really well. I'm actually making money now. I've, you know, on path, I'm paying off my debts. I'm not on struggle street anymore. So what's next? And I remembered, hey, I made a call that I wanted to reach and impact millions. So I decided to pack up everything. I set a day. I was like, October, I'm going. I'm packing up. I'm leaving. I don't know when I'm coming back. I'm going to become a suitcase entrepreneur. And let's see what happens. Okay. So I did. And like, it was really great. I was very successful, but again, it was like still something was like not 100% aligned, you know. And in the meantime, I was like coaching people here and there as well. Like, I'm still kind of putting myself out there, and I've probably created, I don't know how many programs as well. So, you know, so we're still kind of doing that and working. And then I guess, you know, beginning of 2016, I was like, well, what do I really want to do? And that's when I hired to work with Kat, you know, one-on-one. And she asked me, and this was like the first time I heard about like alignment and like what's actually the bigger purpose, and what do you want people, you know, to know, and what is it about you that, you know, draws people in? And I was like, okay, that's a really good question. And I was like, well, for me, it's about energy, you know, like, why do people come to me? It's my energy. It's the core of who I am. It's, you know, I guess who I've become, is this whole confidence, being fearless, you know, being a badass. You know, and I was like, that's what I want to pass on. You know, I just want to be like a success coach. Like, I just want to show people how they become their own like best version of themselves, like how they become a badass, and, you know, link it then back to business, because there's so many women out there who want to build their own business. And I've done lots of business coaching, you know, through MLM. So I was like, that's what I want to do. And so that's when I started this journey, and success has like literally accelerated crazily since then. So that's what I mean. So we're looking now 18 months since I've decided to, you know, pack up my stuff, go on board, realize like what my alignment, like what my purpose is actually about. And that's when I decided I just want to be like a success mindset coach, business coach, help women to really own their voice, to own their story, to really recognize they're a worthy woman. They can honestly have it all. And so all I do now, or, you know, or quote unquote, is help women to have like an unfuckwithable mindset to monetize and manifest their badass life. You know, I show women, hey, you know what? You can monetize your purpose. This is what I'm doing. It's taken me a while to get there, but it's freaking awesome, and it's actually easy. So let's do that then, rather than trying to figure out all the how. And and that with that 18 months of that business growth, obviously I attracted my soulmate. I moved back to Germany. You know, I fell in love, and, you know, my life is beautiful. Like, I'm very grateful, very blessed.
Wow. You know, the flow of how things came together, how you came upon your purpose, how you started inspiring millions of women throughout the world, not just in Germany, not just in America. So it's just been, it's a fascinating story. I'm so totally inspired by your energy. And that's what attracted me to you in the first place. And love it.
Thank you. Yeah.
So what are you doing today? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, like, I guess it's really important to honor that, you know, success is not an overnight thing. You know, there is no overnight success. And like, you could look at my business and my impact now, and obviously I've got this new program, and I literally announced a masterclass, and I had like 400 people sign up for it. Okay, so you could look at that and you could say, wow, she's really successful. And I'm like, yes, but you know what? I've had a journey to get here. Yeah. And it was through hard work, you know, in terms of, you know, hours and energy, and I don't know how much money I've invested in mentors and programs and courses, never mind in digging deep into who I am and what alignment means and purpose and all that sort of stuff. But also I want to know that, you know, you need to acknowledge that everybody's got a journey. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm going to build a business, I want to help women, you know, like I've always known like I'm going to impact the world, but I hadn't found my right channel yet. So I need to just, you know, really acknowledge everybody that's in business, understand that wherever you are right now, it's exactly where you're meant to be. You know, like it's exactly where you're meant to be. You don't need to like get caught up on not moving fast enough or get caught up on, but this person is doing so great and whatever. Just understand at the end of the day, if you are monetizing your purpose, like if you're literally, you know, following your soul's calling, then you're going to be in this for the rest of your life. So really get excited about the journey that's ahead of you, because as I've just shared, there's so many chapters, then you're going to have those chapters too. Maybe it's going to take you longer. Maybe it's going to go faster for you. It doesn't matter, right?
That's a fabulous point.
Yeah,
Not only have you had numerous chapters that led you up here, and they're fascinating. I just want to even touch on that through all of your hard work, now you're actually going to be in Forbes magazine.
Yes.
So how did this happen? I mean, this is fabulous.
Yeah, so it's just, I guess it's just like what you call it? It's a culmination, like it's a, you know, the sum of the work that I've been doing and getting, you know, now branching out into more PR type things, because, you know, like my programs are there, my clients, you know, here, and it's just about how can I actually now get my message out to the masses. So I'm actually collaborating with 14 other female entrepreneurs on a book that's called How She Did It, which is all about, you know, again, sharing your story. And that entails then obviously that's led to the Forbes opportunity. So obviously being featured as one of the, you know, top female entrepreneurs to watch out for in 2018. And we're hoping to do some more work to maybe get some more publications. And there's going to be a great launch party in London, very VIP. There's going to be some TEDx scouts. So we might even get scouted to do a TEDx speech. Which would be another great catapult, because at the end of the day, I just want to speak and share my message. You know, like I'm born to be on the stages, you know, on stage and share my message and run events and stuff. So this is where it's all going now, and I'm super excited. I really am, you know.
Yeah. Well, you know, you're clearly on the right path.
Yes, I am on the, I really, and I feel like, yes, I feel like finally, not finally, but it's like, yeah, my life is now in alignment. Like this is it. And I'm not to say that, you know, every day is just like, you know, unicorn and sparkles, you know, like obviously, you know, who said that? I heard that. I can't remember who it said, but it was like every new level, I can't remember exactly what she said, but basically it was saying that like every next level that you hit is going to obviously require a new version of you. So, you know, it's like literally like you kind of have a breakdown, then a breakthrough, and you go like, oh my God, I'm like so awakened, and I've learned, and I've shed some beliefs, and I'm feeling really empowered. And so you move on and you create some, you know, some results from inside, of course, right? And then like, it's like next level, and you're going to get smacked in the face again. So it's never going to stop. But obviously that's what we decided, you know, and we wouldn't be doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You cut out a little bit. So,
oh, sorry.
Like
okay.
Next level, new devil, next level.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I was going to say like literally like every new level requires a new version of you, right? It's kind of like you have like a breakdown, then a breakthrough, and then you feel really like empowered because you've learned something, and you feel more confident and more aligned and more on purpose and more empowered. And you kind of like keep sailing, and then it's like time to up level, and this whole shit starts from the beginning, you know, and you're like, oh my God, and you're like, can I really do this? Am I really worth it? Am I good enough? And what if this and what if that? And you kind of work through it. So it's kind of like, yeah, exactly like you said, every like next level, new devil, you know?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Sabrina, I know you have a program running right now. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're literally kicking off officially on Monday. It's a brand new program called Call It, Claim It, Create It. It's a 14-day intensive teaching you how to become your own dream catcher. And I'm really inspired to do this program because it's a pure journaling, manifesting type program. I've done lots of mindset programs, in the past. I've got a very great program called Confidence Breakthrough, which is very mindset. And I know people want strategies, but this one is actually just about journaling your way to more money, magic moments, and manifestations. And I'm really, really, really excited. So I'm actually, after this interview, running another masterclass because I ran one and so many women were bummed that they missed it. So I'm doing like a repeat on the masterclass. And then we're kicking off on Monday, the 31st of July. It's a 14-day intensive, and I'm really, really excited to see new manifesting queens coming, to the surface. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that sounds amazing. So how can people get a hold of you?
Well, the best way, I guess, to get hold of me is to actually join my group. I've got a Facebook group, which is where I hang out every single day. It's called Badass Freedompreneur Lifestyle. Okay. I know it's a long word, but it's what I'm all about. So Badass Freedompreneur Lifestyle. I can send you the link to the Facebook group. That would probably be the easiest way. And once in the group, you can see that there's a few challenges that you can do to really kind of get started on your own confidence challenge, really about cultivating that success and confidence mindset. So there's a few things you can do. There's lots of freebies that you can do in your own time. Alternatively, you could check out my website, but I prefer not to go there because it's pretty outdated, actually. So we're getting a new website done. So I think the best way to do that is actually just to head to my Facebook group, and then you'll be on tune and on point with everything that's going on currently.
Excellent. Thank you. And I have one more question. Because yesterday we had talked and you were telling me a little bit about, and I'm not sure if you remember exactly this, but we talked about what your biggest fear was. You had a fear in life. Do you remember?
Yes.
A little bit about that. I enjoyed that. So if you could share that again.
For me, my biggest fear is to not actually live to my fullest potential. I'm not honestly, I mean, I say it now, I'm not afraid of dying because I believe that when my time comes, it will come. And I actually I had a serious car accident once. I was hit by a car as I was running across the street, and the car was going really fast. It was doing 45 miles an hour. And it hit me by surprise. And I was so fortunate to actually leave the hospital the same day, having endured no injury whatsoever. And it was one of those things where someone said to me, it wasn't your time yet. You're here for a bigger purpose. And I was like, yeah, that's true. And that got me thinking. I was like, my biggest fear is not dying. My biggest fear is actually to not live into my potential and actually, impact as many people as I can. For me, it's honestly about ripples. I see so many women with crazy stories, not living into their full potential. So many women getting caught up, being even having shitty relationships and afraid to leave their man, because they think they can't, they're not worth for to attract someone better. There's so many women I see stuck in a relationship where they're afraid because they, wouldn't have no money and all that sort of stuff. I see so much out there. And for me, it's just I want to just create lots of ripples, not just for us, but also for our next generation. My kids, whenever they're born, I've already manifested, my girl is going to be a leader of its own. I'm so excited. I really am to teach her the way I see the world. And she's going to be some creative leader in her own right. And that's what I want. I want to see more leaders. I want to see more female leaders rise to the top, because as I said to you yesterday, I heard this and I totally believe this, that women together can heal the world. End of story.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, you are incredibly inspiring. Your vibration is honestly off the charts.
Yeah,
love it. I'm so happy to have talked with you. Thank you so much for taking the time and just keep on inspiring and going. Absolutely. And I'm just going to end by saying, please contact Sabrina.
Absolutely. Would love to help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sabrina. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to turn off the recording.
Okay.